Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are going to recite Canto 1, Chapter 7 from verse 39 to 58. Hare Krishna. Tadasau vathyatam papa atatatma bandhuha bhartuscha vipriyam vira kritavan kula pamshanaha.
Translation. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately.
Sutta uvacha evam parikshata dharmam parthaha krishnena choditaha naichadantum guru sutam yadyapatma hanam mahan.
Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Vasudama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members.
Athopetya swashibiram Govinda priya sarathihi nyavedayattam priyayai sochantyatma janhatan.
After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer, Shri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons.
Tatharhitam pashuvat pashabadham avan mukham karma jagupsitena nirikshya krishna pakritam gurosutam vama svabhava kripayananam cha.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal, and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahmana.
Uvacha cha sahantyasya bandhananayanam sati muchyatam esha brahmano nitaram guruhu.
She could not tolerate Ashwatthama's being bound by ropes and being a devoted lady. She said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, a spiritual master.
Sarhasyo dhanurvedaha savi sargopasam yamaha astragramascha bhavata shikshito yada nugrahat.
It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons.
Sa esha bhagavan dronaha prajarupena vartate tasyatmanordham patnyaste nanva gadvirashu kripihi.
He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son.
Tad dharmagnya mahabhaga bhavadbhir gauravam kulam vijinam narhati praptam pujyam vandyam abhikshanashaha.
Oh, most fortunate one who knows the principles of religion. It is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful.
मारोदिदस्य जननी गौतमी पतिदेवता यथाहं मृत्यवत्सार्थ रोदिम्याश्रुमुखी मुहुः.
My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me.
यैकोपितं ब्रह्मकुलं राजन्यैरजितात्मभिः तत्कुलं प्रदहत्याशु सानुबन्धं सुचापितम्.
If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all.
सूत उवाच धर्म्यं न्यायं सकरुणं निर्व्यालीकं समं महत् राजधर्मसुतो राज्ञाः प्रत्यानन्दद्वचो द्विजाः.
Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity.
नकुलः सहदेवश्च युयुद्धानो धनञ्जयः भगवान् देवकी पुत्रो ये चान्ये यश्च योषितः.
Nakula and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and other all unanimously agreed with the king.
तत्राहामर्षितो भीमस्तस्य श्रेयान् वधः स्मृतः न भर्तुर्नात्मनश्चार्थे योहन् सुप्तं शिशुन् वृथा.
Bhima, however, disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit, who in an angry mood had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his or nor his master's interest.
निशम्य भीमगदितं द्रौपदस्य च चतुर्भुजः आलोक्य वदनं शक्युर्हृदम् आह हसन् इव.
Chaturbhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi and others saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling.
Sri Bhagavan uvacha Brahmabandhurna hantavya atatayi vadharanaha mayaivo bhayamam natam paripaya payanuशासनम् Guru pratishrutam satyam yattat shantva yata priyam cha bhimasenasya panchalya mayameva cha.
The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, a friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rules are in the scriptures, and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife, and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
Sutta uvacha Arjunaha sahasāඥāya harer hardamatha sina manim jahara murdhanyam dvijasya saha murdhajam.
Sutta Goswami said, Just then Arjun could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
Vimuchya rasanabadham balahatya hata prabham tejasa maninahinam shibiran nirayapayat.
He, Ashwatthama, had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus he was unbound and driven out of the camp.
Vapanam dravinadanam sthana niryapanam tatha esha hi brahma bandhunam vadho nanyosti daihikaha.
Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body.
Putra shokaturaha sarve pandavaha saha krishnaya svanamritanam yat krityam chakrur nirahara nadikam.
Thereafter, the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji, for the mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so beautifully recited for both the Sanskrit and the English translation. You spoke so nicely, so clearly, and so much with devotion. So thank you so much, Mamta Mataji and Pushpa Mataji. Very nice. So today's verse, just wanted to check, everybody can hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yes.
sure. Thank you. So today's verse is going to be text 50, 51, and 52. And 52 is the one which we'll be speaking on because that's the one with the purport. So I just say my sort of invocation prayers too. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayam Namaskapcham Naram Jaiva Narotanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraya Nashtashu Bhadrishu Nitya Bhagavata Saivaya Bhagavatamutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, text number 50. Nakula Sahadevascha Yuyudano Dhananjaya Bhagavan Devaki Putro Yechanya Yascha Yoshitaha. Nakula and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of God, Lord Shri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king. Text 51. Tatrahama Shito Bhimas Tasya Shraya Vadaha Smitaha Nabhatu Natmanas Charte Yohan Suptam Shishur Virta. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them, recommended killing the culprit, who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interests. Text 52. Ishamaya Bhima Gatitam Drupadasya Chaturbuja Lokya Vadanam Shakyu Idam Iham Hasanam Iva. Chaturbuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began of speaking as if smiling. Sorry, can I just pause there just for 1 minute? I just realized my camera's
Prabhuji, we can't hear you.
Thank you. So I'll read the purport again. I'll read the translation again. Chaturabhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna had two arms, and why he is designated as four-armed is explained by Sridhar Swami. But the Bhima and Draupadi held opposite views about killing Ashwatthama. Bhima wanted him to be immediately killed, whereas Draupadi wanted to save him. We can imagine Bhima ready to kill while Draupadi is obstructing him, and in order to prevent both of them, the Lord discovered another two arms. Originally, the primeval Lord, Sri Krishna, displays only two arms, but in his Narayan feature, he exhibits four. In his Narayan feature, he resides with his devotees in the Vaikuntha planets, while in his original Shri Krishna feature, he resides in the Krishna Loka planet far, far above the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. Therefore, if Shri Krishna is called Chaturabhuja, there is no contradiction. If need be, he can display hundreds of arms, as he exhibited in his Vishwarupa shown to Arjuna. Therefore, one who can display hundreds and thousands of arms can also manifest four whenever needed. Which Arjuna was perplexed about what to do with Ashwatthama. Lord Shri Krishna, as the very different of Arjuna, voluntarily took up the matter just to make a solution, and he was smiling also. So translation, Chaturabhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna. They began to speak as if smiling. Okay, let's recite the invocation prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapatam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Svapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Larita Shiva Shikam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopishva Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sata Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Panchakapatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhabhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakticharu Swami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Sunyavade Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in with today's class on Srimad Bhagavatam. My name is Krishna Govinda Das, and kindly seek the prayers of Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Swami, and all the Vaishnavas assembled, so that I may be able to serve you in a way and talk about Krishna Katha topics, which are very pleasing to the heart of the devotees of the Lord. So the last few days, you've been reading this particular chapter about the dilemma of killing Ashwatthama, who was about to kill the son of Abhimanyu in Uttara's womb. But on the instructions of Lord Krishna, he instructed Arjuna to protect the embryo within the womb, and he personally came inside the womb and protected the womb from being destroyed by Ashwatthama. So there's a dilemma at the moment. When they captured Ashwatthama, some of the the clan from the Pandavas. They wanted him killed, but some of them wanted him saved. Draupadi, who had the heart of a mother, of course, realized, how she felt when her own sons were killed, the distraught that she went through, and she did not want the same thing happening to Ashwatthama's mother. She didn't want her to be inflicted with all the suffering that she had endured upon during the killing of her own sons. But Bhima, on the other hand, because he was ready to kill Ashwatthama, they had to protect him from being killed by Bhima Dev. So, but at the same time, even Lord Krishna was suggesting to Arjuna that he should be killed. But then Arjuna also was feeling very compassionate towards Ashwatthama. And then thus he looked at Krishna in a very perplexed mood, asking for, answers, just like at the beginning of the battlefield, when he was sort of unsure that he wanted to fight because he saw all his relatives, his spiritual masters, his grandfather, all on the other side of the battlefield. He became completely helpless. His body started shivering. The Gandiva bow fell from his arms, and then he was perplexed about fighting, and he didn't want not to fight at all. And of course, the Bhagavad Gita took place specifically so Lord Krishna could instruct Arjuna about the important duties of him as a warrior, as a Kshatriya, to uphold Dharma. And the whole Mahabharata, as you can see, there's so many hundreds and thousands of verses within it. But within that whole Mahabharata epic, the jewel of the whole Mahabharata, the diamond of it, is actually the Bhagavad Gita, which consists of 700 verses, the important verses which Krishna speaks to Arjuna. So there is a difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Narayan, which I'll explain later on. But whenever there is a difficulty on Mother Earth, all the demigods, or Mother Earth approaches the demigods approach Narayan or Lord Vishnu to ask them to come and protect them in this sort of dilemma. If it's some demonic person ruling the world, or Mother Earth being plunged at the bottom of the ocean, they come to Vishnu, because Vishnu is just like you can't go to the supreme authority. You have to go through the discipline of the different ministers before you can approach the prime minister. So similarly, all the demigods, they approach Lord Vishnu first to ask him, please help us. What can we do? What can you do to protect us, my dear Lord? And then, of course, Krishna, Lord Vishnu, gives them, assurance, do not worry, I shall come and protect you. And then that's where Krishna comes in the form of the different avatars, specifically the 10 avatars that we know of, that he comes to descend on this material world, to annihilate the demons and to deliver the pious, to re-establish the principles of religion. Yada yada dharmasya glani bhavati bharata ajutadam dharmasya dharmanam shijamiyam. So, but in this case, when Arjuna is feeling very perplexed, he's actually looking at Lord Narayan, and Lord Narayan turns into his four-armed form. Now, there is a difference. Lord Krishna has unlimited qualities. As we know, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. There is no one above him. Even here within the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the realm of Lord Krishna is much higher than the Vaikuntha planets where Lord Narayan resides with Lakshmi Devi. But if Krishna has unlimited qualities, normally he's recognized by 64 main qualities that Krishna possesses. But of those 64 qualities, he has 4 particular qualities that Lord Narayan doesn't have. Does anybody know what those 4 qualities are? You can unmute yourself, and if you know any of the answers.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Danvat Pranam. Please, may I try?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I think the 4 qualities are that he has a Trimbhanga Lalita form, the 3 bending fold form, and he plays the flute, and he's most beautiful, and I forgot the 4th one, sorry.
That's very good. That's very nice.
Bhaktavatsal.
Bhaktavatsal as the father.
The 4th one is Bhaktavatsal.
Yeah. So what it is, I'm not sure if I can share this because I didn't actually get it onto the screen. There are actually 4 additional qualities that Lord Narayan has. And one of the quality is that he performs wonderful activities. On and above Lord Narayan, Krishna has all the activities that he performs, all the different leelas that he performs on Earth or any other particular planet that even Lord Narayan doesn't have. Even when you look at the Bhagavad Gita or any of the instructions, any instructions that's been given is actually by Lord Krishna himself, whether it's to Uddhava, whether it's to Arjuna or to anybody else. The instructions come specifically, it's actually Krishna who speaks. So in one of the qualities, as we mentioned, perform of wonderful qualities, it's actually said that one of the favorite qualities in the Brihad Vamana Purana is that Krishna himself says that he has many fascinating pastimes, but whenever I think of the Rasa Leela, which I perform with the gopis, I become eager to have it again. So out of all of his topmost activities, even though he may be killing so many demons, protecting the devotees, but his favorite activity is the Rasa Leela. And he likes to come specifically to perform the Rasa Leela. And it's not just for him, but it's actually his connection with the gopis, because the gopis are the highest devotees that you can actually attain in your perfection in spiritual life. Although we're sort of far from it, but at the same time, we develop a relationship with Krishna in such a way that we may not be on the level of a gopi, or even nowhere near even to what Prabhupada is feeling towards Krishna. But at least what we can do is try to the best of our ability to love Krishna in such a way from his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pashram Phalam Toyam, or whatever you do, whatever activities you perform, whatever austerities you perform, whatever charity or things you give away, do that as an offering to me. Everything that we do will revolve around Krishna as the Supreme Lord, not just as a Supreme Father, but as a Supreme Lord as well, because he provides everything for us. Everything we see around us, whether it's the light that's coming from the sun or the moon, or the very fresh air that we breathe every day, that all these facilities that Krishna provides. So it's actually not only the master, but it's also the servant of everyone. Whether you love him or you don't love him, he provides it to everyone without any comparison or without any difference to anybody at all. So further on, Krishna says in one of the purports, it says that one devotee from the Brihad Vamana Purana, it says that I know about Narayan, the husband of the goddess of fortune, and I also know about many other incarnations of the Lord. Certainly all the pastimes of such incarnations are very excited to my mind, but still the pastimes of Rasa Leela performed by Lord Krishna himself are wonderfully increasing my transcendental pleasure. So although the Rasa Leela is at a very higher level, and it would, for Srila Prabhupada, he didn't actually finish the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but he did write the Krishna book, which actually explains the Leela of the Rasa Leela and all the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis and with Radharani. But that highest level of love and reciprocation is of the gopis have for Krishna. So even the gopis actually say, you know, we are married, but yet we have so much attraction for you, Krishna, that whatever we're doing, we're creating offenses. There was even a story where during the Rasa Leela, when they were looking for Krishna, they couldn't find him anywhere, and Lord Krishna appeared at his Narayan form. And what did the gopis do? They, of course, acknowledged Lord Narayan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offered their respects to him, but still they were interested in Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And that love is slightly different from the devotees who have love for Krishna in the form of Narayan, which is based on awe and reverence. Whereas the love for Krishna, the highest level, is pure unconditional love. So even though they were married to Brahmanas, they were willing to risk their lives, they were willing to risk their reputation just to be with Krishna. And why is that? Because one of the other qualities Krishna has is, I think the devotee mentioned earlier on, that Krishna plays the attractive flute. So the first one was Krishna's wonderful activities, which Narayan doesn't perform. And the second one is Krishna's attractive flute. So here, the gopis tell Mother Yashoda, when your son plays on his flute, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Indra, although they are supposed to be the greatest learned scholars and personalities, will become bewildered. Although they are all very great personalities, by hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, they humbly bow down and become grave from studying the sound vibrated. So further along, Rupa Goswami talks about the vibration of Krishna's flute. The sound vibration created by the flute of Krishna wonderfully stopped Lord Shiva from playing his Dindima drum. And the same flute has caused great sages like the four Kumaras to become disturbed in their meditation. It has caused Lord Brahma, who was sitting on this lotus flower in the creative function, to become astonished. And Anantadev, who was calmly holding all the planets on his hood, was moving in this way, and due to the transcendental vibration of Krishna's flute, which penetrated through the covering of this universe and reached to the spiritual sky. So you just see in that explanation, you can see how beautifully Krishna plays the lotus flute. When he used to play in Vrindavan, everyone was captivated, whether it was the calves, the cows, the cowed boys, the gopis, the coward men, or the elderly gopis, Mother Yashoda. They had so much joy, so much love, when they just hear the flute of Krishna playing the different melodies. It must have been so sweet, so transcendental. We really think, you don't actually see any other personality or God, in any of the other faiths, whether Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, where they have a musical instrument where God plays. You may have a demigod, like within the Greek demigods, you have Piccolo, who plays the I think the Pan, he half goat, half man. He plays the pied pan. There's also another character who plays the piccolo, but nobody as such plays the flute. You see Mother Saraswati playing the tambura as well, but on a higher level, because of course Mother Saraswati is the goddess of learning. Through Krishna's potency, she's able to perform so many wonderful activities for us to serve Krishna in different ways through learning different activities and pastimes in serving Krishna. But we can see Krishna's playing the flute is so incredible. Now, the third character or quality that Krishna has above Lord Narayan is that Krishna is surrounded by devotees. So when we talk about Krishna, whether it's his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, it's all considered to be all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So when Krishna appears in the material world, he comes with all his entourage. And who are his greatest devotees? Are the gopis themselves. There's no greater devotees than the gopis, and this is explained several times in the Srimad Bhagavatam and also by the acharyas. So on this particular theme of character of Krishna is surrounded by loving devotees, it says, when we speak of Krishna, Krishna is not alone. Krishna means his name, his qualities, his fame, his friends, his paraphernalia, his entourage. All these are included. When you speak to a king, just understood that he is surrounded by his ministers, secretaries, military commanders, and many other people. Similarly, Krishna is not impersonal, and his Vrindavan Leela especially is surrounded by the gopis, the cowed boys, his father, his mother, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So here it explains, although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is actually residing in the hearts of every living entities within every atom. So he's never alone. He's always with his entourage, always with his, devotees all around him. Just like as I mentioned about the king, he's never alone. He's always with his ministers. The fourth one, which Mataji also explained, one of the quality that Krishna has up and beyond Lord Narayan is Krishna's exquisite beauty. So in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th verse, Uddhava tells Vidura, my dear sir, Krishna's form was most wonderful when he appeared on this planet and exhibited the potency of his eternal energy. His wonderfully attractive form was present during his pastime on this planet, and by his internal potency exhibited his opulences, which are striking to everyone. His personal beauty was so great that there was no necessity for his wearing ornaments on his body. In fact, instead of the ornaments beautifying Krishna, Krishna's beauty enhanced the ornaments. So sometimes when you see Lord Krishna, we see Radha Gokulananda, we actually see, wow, Krishna's wearing beautiful necklaces, beautiful garlands. Of course, that's true, but actually they actually become more prevalent. The fact that Krishna allows them to rest upon his body. On their own, they may not look so exquisitely beautiful, but because Krishna wears them, they become even more attractive. So this is one of the 4 qualities that Krishna has above Narayan. So when Narayan actually appears, he appears in his 4-armed form. Similarly, when Devaki and Vasudeva were about to give birth to baby Krishna, when he appeared, so before Krishna appeared, he actually appeared in his 4-armed form as Lord Vishnu. And the 4 arms that Krishna, Lord Vishnu has, he carries 4 particular paraphernalia. Does anybody know what those 4 paraphernalias are? And if they know the names as well?
Shankha Chakra Pada, but Gadapada.
Yes.
Right.
Gada.
The Shankha Chakra Gadapada is the conch and it's the chakra,
Yeah.
the discus, then is
Lotus.
the mace and the lotus.
That's very good. Thank you so much. Yes, the 4 items is the conch, the Panchajanya, as the name goes. So you remember at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, when they started blowing the conches, they blew the conches first on the Kaurava side and nothing happened. But as soon as Krishna blowed his Panchajanya, there was a feeling of thunder shattering in their hearts and all the enemies. It's said that even when Lord Vishnu blows his conch shell, the wives of the demons have miscarriages because they're so powerful, so auspicious. So when you see the Panchajanya at the beginning of the Arati, although you're blowing the conch to let everybody know it's Arati time, please come take darshan of the Supreme Lord, but it's also blowing away all the inauspiciousness around you. It's actually evoking purity, a good sort of spiritual transcendental atmosphere in the environment of the temple when the art is to be performed. So the conch shell has a very significant meaning. So even though you may think that the conch is a bone, is of a product of a sea animal, but by nature, if it's actually used in Krishna service, it is pure. So normally the conch itself won't be kept inside the temple room itself or the actual altar. It'll be just outside, just kept outside. As you can see, the conch is kept outside the gate. And because the main reason is because when you blow it, you have to wash it as well. So you don't have contaminated water inside the altar itself. So that's the important thing about the conch shell. The other item that Krishna has, he has a lotus, a flower, is showing that, Krishna's, it actually says that when you see the lotus, Prabhupada explains that the flowers itself are actually representing Krishna's smile. So Krishna likes to be decorated with flowers every day, not just ordinary flowers. There was even a situation once, many years ago, they were dressing Krishna, deities of Radha Krishna with opulent flowers, but they were made of plastic. They want proper, real flowers with fragrance. And Prabhupada advised them, no. If you offer something nice to Krishna, offer them fresh flowers all the time. Don't offer anything artificial. It just doesn't befit the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It doesn't even show your devotion to the Supreme Lord that you want to give something out of your kind-heartedness, something which is fresh to the Supreme Lord. Just like when you offer food, you want to offer something which is old, putrid, which has no taste to it, which has no sort of well, of course, as we know from the 3 different modes in the mode of passion and ignorance, if it's too salty, pungent, too spicy, etc. The third one is the disc itself. The disc is known as Sudarshan Chakra, and it's also a personality. Now, when you go to a lot of temples, like for instance, even in Hungary, they have a deity of Lord Sudarshan, and as a protection, just like we have the protection of Lord Nrsingadev, to protect our devotion, protect our devotees within the temple community itself. We also pray to Lord Sudarshan for protection. He is a personality non-different from Krishna himself. All the paraphernalias are representatives of Lord Balaram. And the chakra itself, I've been told, has 108 teeth, and it could travel from one universe to the other universe in a blink of an eye, the millions and millions of yojanas within a split of a second. So Lord Vishnu wanted to send a Sudarshan Chakra to destroy his enemies. He could do that at the blink of an eye. The other one is the club called Kamadaki. So this club is also another paraphernalia, is used to defeat the demons. You see Lord Varaha using his club to defeat the demon Hiranyayaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu. The Kamadaki is considered to be transcendental, of course, another personality, Kamadaki, but also it cannot be lifted by any other person other than Lord Vishnu himself. So sometimes you may hear the stories of like Thor, the god of thunder, in the Viking sort of tradition, that nobody can lift the hammer of Thor. Similarly, Kamadaki, the club of Lord Vishnu, there is no personality other than Vishnu himself that could lift this particular club. Now, sometimes Krishna, Lord Vishnu, appears in other sort of has other sort of weapons as well. Does anybody know any other weapons that Krishna normally holds, Lord Vishnu holds? If they know the names of them as well?
Saringa bow.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And that is?
Bow.
Bow. Yep, that's it. Sharanga bow. And I'll explain a nice story of that in a little while. Anything else anybody knows?
Nandaka Kadgam.
Yeah, very good. And that is
The sword.
yeah, sword. That's good. And normally you have a sword and you would also have a shield as well. And there's also two other ones that you may not actually guess. Does anybody know what they are? I'll give you a clue. So in one of the story, Lord Indra uses this particular weapon to defeat a demon called Vritasura.
Vajra?
That may be another name for it, but there was a particular name I was looking for. Narayan Ashtra. You've heard of the Narayan Ashtra? So this is a very, very beautiful story where Lord Indra is trying to defeat the demon Vritasura. Vritasura was actually a very saintly king in his previous life, but because he committed an offense, he became a demon, but he was a very learned demon as well in his next life. So Lord Indra went to Lord Vishnu to say, I cannot defeat this demon. What can I do? So then Lord Vishnu instructs him on the Nrsimha Kavacha, or the Narayan Kavacha, sorry, my mistake. Narayan Kavacha, the Nrsimha Kavacha, there is a Nrsimha Kavacha, of course, and the Narayan Kavacha, or Narayan Ashtra. And he uses this weapon, he recites the mantras, he follows the processes of reciting the mantras. And these mantras are actually in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read one of the particular cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And through this particular Narayan Kavacha, he was able to destroy Vritasura. There's also another Ashtra. It's not known so much, but it's called the Vaishnava Ashtra as well. So that's another sort of weapon that is used to protect the devotees and to kill the demons by Lord Vishnu. So earlier on, the devotee mentioned one particular bow, and he mentioned Sharanga. It's actually the bow of Lord Vishnu. So one time, this is from what I understand, so please do correct me if I'm wrong, Lord Brahma wanted to see who was the greatest, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. So somehow or another, an arrangement happened where a quarrel started between Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva's bow was called Pinaka, and Lord Vishnu's bow was called Shanka. And the two fought very valiantly, but ultimately Lord Vishnu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, actually won. And Lord Shiva recognized this and offered his obeisances to Lord Vishnu. And this particular bow that Lord Shiva had, the Pinaka, was passed to who? Does anybody know?
Janak Maharaj.
Yes, very good, Amog. That's very good. You seem to know many stories about Krishna, very good. Yes, it was passed to Janak Maharaj, who is the father of Sita Devi. So this bow itself was considered to be a very powerful bow. And it so happened one day, Sita Devi was playing with her friends in the courtyard where the bow was kept, and somehow or another, the ball was hidden behind. where the bow was kept, and she managed to lift the bow, which no other warrior, no other person could actually lift. It took thousands and thousands of men just to carry that bow from Lord Shiva to the place of Lord King Janak. So because King Janak actually saw Sita Devi carry this particular bow, he said, oh, this is amazing. She can't be just an ordinary person. So he made a vow that anybody who lifts this bow of Lord Shiva can marry Sita Devi, take Sita Devi in their hands. And that was Lord Ramachandra, of course. So these are wonderful pastimes of Lord Narayan. And going back to the story of this particular shloka, this particular purport. So when Arjuna, he was perplexed, he went to Lord Narayan because Narayan understood, Lord Krishna understood Arjuna's perplexion. He actually turned it to his form, and with a smile, he gave him an answer that, like, because he is a killer of a Brahmana, he must be killed itself. And as the purport goes on later on, the translation, he doesn't officially kill Ashwatthama, but what he does, he takes away the jewel. He's already become infamous because of his misdeed, but then Arjuna cuts away the jewel of his head. Each Kshatriya would have a jewel on their head that allows them to retain their potency, their power within the divinity of that jewel on their head. Just like the Nagas in the spiritual world, they have a jewel on the top of their head, and it's considered to be so beautiful, so bright, so powerful that it doesn't even require a sun to illuminate any of the atmosphere around it, any of the space, any of the universes. The jewel itself and the head of the Nagas are so beautiful, sparkling, so bright. So by taking away or cutting away the jewel from his head, Ashwatthama, and also cutting his hair, was almost like killing him in a way. And he was just became a destitute after that. So there's another form of Lord Narayan, or another form of Krishna in a 6-arm form. Does anybody know that particular form?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's.
Very good, Amaglila Prabhu. So do you want to explain a little bit more about that, or shall I explain it?
You please explain, Prabhu. Krishna.
Yeah, sure. So the story goes that when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who fainted in front of Lord Jagannath, he took him into his quarters, took care of him. He was so mesmerized by the beautiful radiant effulgence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an impersonalist, he started explaining the different meaning of the verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he was speaking for many days. And then after he had finished, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, you haven't said a single verse. You haven't made any single comment to anything I've said. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mentioned everything that he mentioned, but he said, I don't understand your meaning, your translation, your interpretation of this particular verse. And he explains the verse in so many different ways that is far beyond Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's intelligence. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becomes very bewildered, and he doesn't understand how is this possible. This young boy manages to explain so many points about this verse, which I never sort of considered. So while he was resting in sleep that particular night, then he woke up and he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu right up here before him in a 6-arm form, which is called Sadbhuj. The Chaturbhuj form is 4-arm, Chatur means 4, and Sadbhuj means 6-arm form. So 2 arms are for Lord Chaitanya, and he carries 2 items. What's that?
There's one thing, a kamandal.
Yes, that's it. And it's sannyastic, yeah?
Elastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his 2-arm forms, there's another 2 arms. Whose arms are they, and what does he carry?
Rama.
Rama,
It's Lord Rama.
Yes.
And he carries bow and arrow.
bow and arrow.
Yes, very good. And the last 2 arms belong to?
Lord Krishna.
Krishna, the flute.
Good. Well done. Can you see that picture? Hopefully you can see it. Oh, here. Can you see that picture?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so this is a 6-arm form, Sambuja form. It's such a beautiful painting. It's one of my favorite paintings. It's a very old painting from the 70s, but you can see that same painting you could see in the temple room next to Lord Nrsingadev on the left-hand side of the, as you look into the altar. And it's got two arms raised up with the bow and arrow of Lord Ramachandra, the two arms playing the beautiful flute, which is one of the transcendental quality that Krishna has over Lord Vishnu, and the two arms resting downwards are his pot and his stick by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is such a beautiful story as well. So it actually shows that, Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna could have as many arms as possible, just like in the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada mentions Krishna expanded his form to show 1,000 arms, and he actually showed his Vishvarupa form to Arjuna. Lord Krishna actually showed his Vishvarupa form to somebody else as well. Does anybody know who he showed that Vishvarupa form to? I'm trying to make it interactive, so I'm not boring you. Just with me.
Ramananda Rai.
Yashoda.
Okay. You may be both right, actually. I didn't know about Yashoda Maya. Actually, when he sees the universal form inside his mouth, yes, that's true. He does
And
see
to
that.
Duryodhana as well.
Yes, that's the one which I was looking forward to Duryodhana. So
Yeah.
what happened? Lord Krishna was trying to make peace between the Pandavas and Kauravas.
Yes.
And in doing so, he went to Duryodhana and explained, please do not fight. Why don't you just give 5 villages to the Pandavas, and then everything will be settled. But Duryodhana said, I will not even give him a land the size of the tip of a pin, the size of a tip of a needle. And that's how he was. So then Krishna got a bit annoyed and he started showing him his Vishvarupa form, although it was in the same form as they showed to Lord Arjuna, but he actually showed his partial expansion. But even then, Duryodhana was so blind because he was full of envy, full of selfishness, full of pride, greed, etc. All the coverage that we all have in our lives, unfortunately, he was not able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just like it says, only by the ointment of love and devotion are you able to see the wonderful pastimes of Sri Krishna. So when we see these pastimes of Krishna, it's only by love and devotion. And because Duryodhana didn't have any devotion, he cannot actually see this Sadbhuja form, this Vishvarupa form, this partial Vishvarupa of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Krishna said, I tried my best, so inevitably it came to war. So there's a very beautiful film. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's just come out recently. You can actually watch it on YouTube, I think. It's actually called Kurukshetra. It's a South Indian film, and it's actually about 3 hours long, and it's just like a more modern version of the Mahabharata. And it's actually showing you the story of the whole process of the Pandavas, the battle scenes in the early days when they were conflicting with the Kauravas, and how they got banished and how the Mahabharata took place. It's a very nice film, so I would certainly recommend if anybody's got time to watch it. It's called Kurukshetra. So just finishing off now, does anybody have any questions or comments they wanted to raise?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just want to know the name of the lotus flower which Vishnu holds.
Yes, actually, I tried to look for it. It only just says Padma. If anybody else does know, please do let us know. I couldn't recognize or could see any specific names for it.
Is it Kamal, Prabhuji?
The Kamal is like Hindi flower, is called Kamal.
Oh,
Yeah,
Does it have a name or something? I just think
I'm sure it would have a name because each of these items have personalities, and it's not a flower that would just wither away like the flowers that we have. So there would be internal flower, and they would have a specific name, just like the conch has Panchajanya, the club has a name, Kamadaki, the disc has Sudarshan Chakra. So there must be a name for it as well.
That'll be a homework, I think, for us.
Yes, it'd be nice homework. It's such a beautiful poster, but it actually shows you, because a lot of people actually see, I think there's a lot of misconception, because when you type in Google or anything else, they see that Krishna is an avatar of Lord Narayan. But here, Prabhupada actually explains that Lord Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan, is the highest level, and then you have Narayan. And even after Narayan, Mahavishnu is only a partial expansion of Lord Narayan. So you can see Mahavishnu, you have Karadaksha Vishnu, you have Garbhadaksha Vishnu, and Shiradaksha Vishnu resides in the hearts of every living entity. Even Karadaksha Vishnu, from the pores of his skin, all the multi-universes appear, and then that particular Mahavishnu is only a partial expansion of Narayan, and Narayan is only a partial expansion of Lord Krishna. So it's quite amazing. Sometimes when you think about these things, it boggles your mind, Because sometimes when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, it refers to Vishnu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sometimes as Narayan, sometimes as Krishna, but here we have specific verses by the Acharyas, by Prabhupada, explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Prabhuji, can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
A little bit. I mean, obviously, Bhima and Lord Krishna, both of them asked Arjun to kill Ashwatthama. So obviously, Krishna is telling somebody to kill now here, but then Arjuna didn't kill, and so did Draupadi also forgave them. So what do we take from there? Krishna is telling somebody to kill, but you're not doing it.
Yeah, that's right. Because Krishna wanted to please his devotees, because when we were reading the translations, it mentioned that Nakula, Sahadev, Yudhishthira, Draupadi, none of them wanted to kill Ashwatthama, because Ashwatthama, after all, was the son of their guru, Dronacharya. So, as I mentioned earlier, Draupadi was in such a distressed situation because of her own sons being killed. She didn't want Ashwatthama's mother to go through that same difficulty. So in one way, Krishna wanted to please both sides of the party. He wanted to please Bhima, and he wanted to please Arjuna, and he wanted to please Draupadi as well. So although it mentioned in there, when they took off the jewel from his head, it was almost like killing him as well. But at the same time, he wasn't killed. So it wasn't actually slaying him. Krishna, because of his heinous crime, his punishment would be killed. But Krishna also, being very merciful, he actually forgave the situation as Ashwatthama was, because of the grievous situation of Draupadi. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Just one last thing before I finish off. I was asked to quickly mention to all of you, if I could, tomorrow is a very special day. So tomorrow is, I believe it's a Ekadashi anyway, which is really wonderful. Everybody does a Ekadashi tomorrow. And then also tomorrow morning, if you're able to come in the morning, there is a special program specifically for book distribution itself. So this is the Sankirtan Inauguration Festival. As you know, during Christmas time is a very, very important time of the year for all of us. Of course, Christmas is special for all of us, but it's also a time where devotees go distributing books to all the people around the world, whatever, our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, and so forth. And during the COVID pandemic situation, when everybody was in lockdown situation, so many wonderful devotees were making phone calls to their friends, to their relatives, to their neighbors, just telling them about Krishna consciousness, giving them and distributing about the books. So tomorrow is like an opening ceremony for this particular Christmas marathon. So we're inviting everybody to come to the marathon. 7 o'clock, of course, everybody knows it's darshan time for Bhaktivedanta Mana, for their Lordship Shri Radha Gokulananda. At 7:30, there'll be a presentation by the devotees from the marathon team. And then there'll be a drama at 8:15 in the morning. And there'll be a special feast where everybody's invited, the Ekadashi feast at 9 a.m. Then after that, there's going to be a Sankirtan training. So it doesn't matter if you have any qualifications or if you a veteran devotee or if a new devotee, everyone's welcome. You find that a lot of youngsters are coming to these events and doing book distributions. If you have not joined already the Sankirtan WhatsApp group, please do let me know, that we can add your name onto the Sankirtan WhatsApp group, so you can get daily messages of where everyone's going, where you could perhaps support the other team members. If depending on the location, geographical locations where you live, you can participate in that. So that's for tomorrow, November the 19th, Saturday morning. So please do come in. If you are not able to come in and join personally, it will be shown live on Bhaktivedanta Mana broadcast, and also updates will be coming on a regular basis, which you can all join in and participate as well. So I'll end there. If there's no more comments or questions, do forgive me for any mistakes I've made, and thank you kindly for tuning in today for the session of Srimad Bhagavatam class today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Prabhuji,
you
for the
so much,
wonderful
Prabhuji.
class.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
For a very nice class.
Very nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the
Thank
wonderful.
you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the very interactive class. Hare Krishna.